Hi, friends. Welcome to Q&A Tuesday. So, great question, not uncommon. Grace, is it possible to accept my body when I don't like how it looks and feels right now? So much in that question. Is it possible to accept my body when I don't like how it looks and feels right now? So, just in the question itself, looking at it, we see the asker has an idea that if there's acceptance, this thing called acceptance, I'll be happier. That would be better. Or I should maybe do that. Or there's a dream of acceptance that needs to go somewhere and it's not here. I'm not happy. I don't like how it looks and feels. And so maybe there's something missing called acceptance, you could say. I don't know for sure if this is the case, but it's just like there's this possibility. Is it possible to accept? So just by asking, whenever we do this, we might see it doesn't look possible to accept, or I don't know how to get to this acceptance place. There is this place called acceptance that looks like acceptance, that feels like acceptance, and I'm not there. And I notice I don't like how the body looks and feels right now. I don't like how it looks and feels right now. So I don't know if this person is thinking that not liking something equals lack of acceptance. Often they get merged and joined. If I don't like something, it means I'm not accepting it, which is a great thing just to start off with a question, inquiry. I mean, just wondering out loud about it, the nature of this. Here I am not liking this, not liking how it looks, not liking how it feels. And is there acceptance missing in that? I like noticing, you can't like something that you just don't like. I mean, I don't know, this is kind of a funny metaphor that just came to mind, but like if we eat something that has gone rotten, or we eat dirt or something that, it's unpleasant, really unappealing. The taste buds are formed and they don't like that. And we don't say, is it possible to accept this item? Unless we think there's other reasons that accepting it would be a really good idea. Like the way kids are, often you're supposed to like green vegetables, right? I should like them because they're proven to be so healthy, and all the information that we have about it. And then there's just being present with this item. But yeah, should I accept it? There's usually ideas around what it will look like if I did. That's a better plan, or that's the right way to be, or over there, if acceptance happens, good. If unacceptance happens, bad. We can think this with other people who are upset about their bodies or their conditions. I mean, I just noticed this rising within, and, noticing it's my same kind of framework or things that I've experienced in the past, echoes of it come up. If I see other people saying, I hate the way my body looks and feels, and I'll think, oh, that's so sad that they hate the way their body looks and feels. They should like the way their body looks and feels. They should like it. It looks perfectly fine to me. It's beautiful. It doesn't work if you're against the way your body looks and feels. But I've got this kind of locked on idea about what liking appears to be and how much more beneficial or easy or accepting that might be. Maybe it's true. It seems like there's more happiness over there when people feel like, excited about how something looks and feels. But there's also the dance in life of looking and seeing change. You were interested in change, or wanting change, or opening up to it, or wanting, just adjusting the look and feel of something. But there's something powerful about this, though. What's it like when we don't like how something looks and feels? We do this in the work all the time with relationships or conditions or situations or events that have happened. People talk about their whole childhood was bad, and those parents and traumatic things, dangerous things, difficult things, frightening things. I really don't like how that looks and feels. I didn't like it. I even don't like it now. I don't like the memories. So same thing. We're staring at the body and saying, unacceptable. I love just first opening up and kind of looking at the predicament. I mean, it's in a way often a sort of a step one in self-inquiry. Just watching, look what's going on here. And what assumptions am I making? How did it come to be that I'm so against how this looks and feels? Often, what a sweet thing to ask ourselves, because I'm afraid. I think I would have something if it looked and felt a different way. If I had thinness, if I liked the way my body looked and felt, if I didn't have this disease or ailment, if I didn't have this physical pain, if I didn't have this sensation, if it's not a body, like way of relating to a person, or if they were more comfortable with how they look and feel, if they were happier, if they looked like they were happy and excited and joyful and energetic about life, then I'd be happier. Then I would be liking how they looked and felt. And just seeing that desire for happiness, desire for whatever we think that is, or acceptance. Things would be better if it looked different than it looks. And so the idea coming in that the mind would, of course, come up with, well, then let's just feel better about how it looks and feels right now. But what if you just noticed you don't like the taste of something and that stays intact? What if you notice you really are repulsed by a situation? What if you notice something simply isn't for you? It doesn't work to be living in that space or that house or that place, or seeing yourself in this particular way, or however that comes out. It's just unlikable. Noticing by writing down and sitting with and contemplating what I think I would have if this changed is really a wonderful exercise. If this thing changed, I would be happy. The body, how it looks and feels, aging. So I just found out last week that I have a little tumor and it's cancerous right here on my forehead. I actually have to get it removed. You can barely see it because they took off a bit of it just from a biopsy. And so it feels so normal to me. Kind of runs in the family, and skin issues as you age. I could say, and while I don't have much fear of any kind about it, because it's one you can just take off, it does seem like it's something that I would say, that's not so good, because it's threatening to the body. That's not so good. Better is when nothing like that is present. And people say this all the time. Where this question came from is the feeling of weight, heavy weight. It's not so good. Don't like it. Better if it was like this over here. Those other people that don't like their bodies, not so good. Better if they were just accepting and pleased and comfortable and relaxed. Is it true? So we look and see what the motive is, why we think it would be better if it was changed. That is an amazing thing to see. I mean, just begin to look with that. And are we sure that's the case? I'm just noticing the power of the mind to show us these alternative options. Like, this is what it looks like if you don't have that thing looking the way it looks, that's unlikable. It seems like it would be a lot better. Your problems would be solved. You'd be relieved. You'd be relaxed. Things would be good. Strange to question this, but is it true? Maybe you'd say yes. Be good if I didn't have a cancerous tumor on my forehead. I don't know. But can I absolutely know that that's true? Can I know it? And here's an interesting question. Can I know I'm not accepting how things are? Can I know that? As I talk about not liking it, or the mind talks about not liking it. Can I know that? What happens when I believe I don't like how it looks and feels? Oh, I don't like it. What happens when I say that about anything? How do I treat the thing I'm staring at and looking at? What happens inside this body, the feeling sense inside the body? What are the images that come to mind? So amazing, so quick. Who would you be without that story? What if you notice that's just mind coming up with its survival plan? Its motive is to survive and have ease and be comfortable. And that's just a part of life. It's just a part of a survival mechanism, it seems like. It wants comfort, connection with people. Often people believe if their body looks and feels like a good way, they'll have connection and no judgment, and that people will accept them a certain way. They'll have love, they'll have kindness. So I'm really dependent, if it looks like this, I will have this peace and kindness and joy and love. I love how Byron Katie says, skip the middleman, like the thing that needs to change, and get the sensation of love now, or feel that that's already underway. It's already happening. Who am I without my story? Who am I without my story? What a mystery. What an incredible question. So, quote from Katie: when the mind is at peace, it projects the body as perfect, even on its way to the hospital in an ambulance, in the midst of a heart attack. There's no fear of anything that may happen. Fear isn't possible for the sane mind. It loves every moment of what might be its last trip, identified as a this or a that, in an ambulance or alone. It's no longer at war with reality. And not to say that this acceptance thing that I long for isn't like an idea that is, this acceptance thing, an awareness of acceptance appearing to be missing. What if it wasn't, though? I mean, I like that. What are we referring to? Thoughts, thinking, stories, and a mind that is there with the story intact is running and having fear and projecting and making predictions and wondering what's going to happen next and getting anxious about it. But if we didn't even refer to that mind and stories, who are we? Who are we? The clear mind, says Katie, understands that the body is not personal. It can't cause any problem. Mind's identification with the body is what causes the confusion and suffering. Identified mind fears bodilessness. Identified mind So, what's it like when I'm believing my thinking? I don't like how it feels and looks, but I need to accept my body. This acceptance is missing. Identified mind, identified with the body, like just blended, stuck in that story, contact like sticky tape to that story. Fears bodilessness. It doesn't know how to be homeless, selfless, apparently lost forever. It isn't realized enough to let it go. And when it has a rare moment of no identification, it scares itself small again and doesn't know how to regain its freedom. I just love noticing how tight and small and crunched down it can be to insist that this is unlikable. And whatever we're looking at, body, somebody else not liking their body, war, and it doesn't mean I'm supposed to accept with resignation and just I don't know, lose clarity about the specific preferences that appear in my life. Like, wow, I really do or don't like how that tastes. It's all right to just see whatever is actually happening and what you don't like. Why not allow that to be there too? Letting the mind just notice what it has to say about everything, even that voice that's running. Okay that it's there. Okay that somebody else isn't liking the way things are and they're staring at something closely. How could that not be okay? What's the reality? There it is happening. Who would we be without the story? Without the story? Without the story, just not necessarily identified with any of it. It's tricky, isn't it? I mean, it's when we get into the thought process, it's just a funny thing to almost even talk about because it's thinking needs to be happening, I suppose, to speak and share. Just watching the flow like wind blowing of where the mind goes and even what this voice is saying. Who am I without the story? Who am I without that identity? Noticing, even if we are absolutely positive we don't like something, we don't like how something looks and feels, and that isn't changing, we don't need to force it to change. I really don't like, eating that such and such thing, and so I just won't. Even if we notice that, even if we notice it doesn't look appealing, it's disturbing, it's uncomfortable as we stare at it, don't like it, even that's okay. I mean, just seeing, who would I be without my story? I need to do something about that. I love watching that fades out and we're not just like gripped down and locked on to the things we don't like the look of and the feel of 24/7. Sometimes we completely forget about it. We're busy with something else. We're entirely busy. I mean, it's just dropped and gone because we're having a conversation with our neighbor, or we're mowing the lawn, or we're going to the grocery store to take care of all of our needs. So it's not on our minds. And sure, I know that what we're talking about here are things repeating themselves and coming back up again, but I like noticing that it comes and goes. Like yesterday I was taking a bike ride. When I left my house, it was spring, sunny, nippy, have to wear warm clothes, still have the warm hat on. And all the way down halfway near the turning point, it was raining on me. Raining, huge, giant, black, dark clouds coming down, pouring rain. Oh, I got caught in the middle of it. I'm going to be riding all the way back in the rain, or, wondering about this. And no, 10 minutes later, the sun came back out again. And by the time I got home, everything was dry. It was kind of amazing. And it was warm and sunny and beaming. That was temporary. It really was like it was like a rain shower. Was I getting wet? Yes, indeed I was. I was even picturing I'm going to have to come through the back door and just take all my sopping wet clothes off so that they can get in the washing machine. I need to not track everything through the house. That didn't even happen. because I was dry by the time I came back. It was amazing. And I warmed up. Who would I be without my story? It's like lots of it is about being permanently, this is the way it looks and feels. And I know the mind gets very repetitive. And here it is again. It looks and feels that same way again. And here it is, looks that same way again. Who would he be without the story? Identified mind fears bodilessness. So turning the thought around, I already accept my body. I already accept that. Even when I don't like how it looks and feels in any given moment. I don't like it. I can sit with it and look at it. I can even find how I do like some things about how it looks and feels. Now, this is not like an unchangeable, static way of being, this thing that I don't like how it looks and feels. I can even question the reasons I don't like how it looks and feels and find that those are a little less certain than I was thinking they were. It's okay that those preferences live. Who would I be? There's something already accepting, and it's accepting. And you could even swing in a turnaround here all the way to fantastic. I accept that I do not like the look and feel of this. I accept that I don't like the look and feel of this. And that's just what keeps coming up. I'm not going to force myself to love something that is false for me. I'm not going to make myself eat a thing that I'm allergic to just because I think I should accept everything. I can clearly accept this one doesn't eat that thing. This one doesn't like that kind of color. This one doesn't like the look and feel of that. I'm not comfortable. I don't feel that good. I believe I can feel better. There's times when I have felt better. So I might be eager and interested in seeing what it's like to make adjustments, to wonder about this. How come this is locked in a certain pattern that looks, repetitively uncomfortable? Could I let go of something here around this, what I should be doing, so I can accept that it's right there where it is in the moment. This is what is so right now. It's temporary. And there may be some things that are really easy and smooth, and that I can find out that work in a way that is easy and accepting and kind for myself. I might be able to do that. In fact, I probably could. Fearless, something that is a fearless way of working with this. So totally possible. Totally and completely possible to be fearless in the turnaround. Wow, there's something I don't accept about this. It's just simple. I just know to move out from this house and go live over there. I know that it's time. I know that it's not easy, and there's a lot of fear when I'm here in this location, when I'm doing it the way I do it. When I tell myself I should stay, I feel really uncomfortable and I get really stuck and trapped. So, okay to move, okay to go. What is freedom? Okay to go anywhere. Freedom. All right, to be moving in whatever direction is kindness, and easiest, most loving, most accepting. So hopefully that helps. My thinking. I don't like how my thinking looks and feels right now as I gaze at the body, those people, that situation, that condition. I don't like how my thinking looks and feels. It's like just full of negative bias. It is saying, oh my God, this is terrifying. It is fearful. It's comparing. It's looking at the way it should be, not the way it is. I don't like how my thinking looks and feels right now. That we can do something with. Hallelujah. We can do something with the thoughts. And I find as we question it, this way of looking and seeing something and the way that we actually feel really makes huge shifts, unexpected, interesting, kind of wonderful, greatly mysterious, in a movement in the direction it does. As we fully align with what looks and feels good, is just following that pathway of the pathway of least resistance, as they say. The greatest ease, kindness, and acceptance. We notice we don't like it if we dislike how something's looking and feeling, but it doesn't mean I have to go stay right in it, like eat that thing that I don't like the taste of every single day, or I can find my own way that works with this one, or, argue with what I'm looking at. I can just relax, step out, feel the freedom of not having to be any certain way and knowing, just feeling what's right for this one. I don't know, I once heard it said it's 100 times more powerful to be loving than fearful and wanting to avoid, and just open. And sometimes love takes us in really interesting directions, and it takes us away from things. I don't want to be at the center of the war zone. If I'm not there, I'm not going to go hunt that down and be there. And if I wind up there, I'll know what to do with my thinking. And it'll give me the easiest, clearest, most productive directions in which way to move. I'll know, and I'll move in that direction. I'm free. Hope that helps. Lots of love, everybody. Great question.